Welcome everybody to our fourth out of four in our Facebook webinar series. I am joined today by Crystal Lindsay and Jordan Sherrod of the M. Roberts Digital team. We're excited to have both along for today's ride. If you've got questions, please send them in the chat and I'll make sure we get them in front of Crystal and Jordan. And again, a great thanks to Marshall Chamber of Commerce for partnering with us to bring these to you. And with that, Crystal, take it away.
Oh, well, I am so excited y'all are here. Welcome to part 4. That's right. We are kicking this off today with a very, very special guest. I know the last 3 workshops, we've really been leading up to this point. So the first one, we talked about Facebook 101, but boy, didn't you get so much more, right? But you learned about profiles versus pages, boosting, you got to pay to get seen, all of these aspects. The second one was where we got you into Facebook marketing hacks, and you started learning about warming up your posts and getting ready and how to get your posts seen by the most people possible for the smallest amount of money that you could spend. And then we dabbled a little bit in Facebook ads there. And then we said what to post and when. And we talked about a little bit on the different channels and what performs best. And then when you should be posting based on COVID statistics. So if you missed any of those workshops, I want you to go back and get the links. You have them here. So make sure you reach out and get those links if you missed those workshops. But today is the bow on top, the best. We have the one and only Jordan Sherrod on the call because he is the man behind the machine. That's right. So if you are working with M. Roberts Digital or with our newspaper component and you want to be able to get seen and run Facebook ads, yes, we can help. We could put in a work order, and then Jordan behind the scenes makes it all happen and he optimizes it to get the maximum leads possible. So having him here is a real treat. Thank you, Jordan.
I didn't realize we had the Wizard of Oz with us.
He is the man behind the curtain. That is for sure. So without further ado, Jordan, let's jump into this. And please, Alexander, help us keep our feet on the ground. We want this to be fun and exciting. You'll get some theory, but I really want you to leave with a practical application of how to move forward. Because what we know right now is that social media is up over 200%. And so because of COVID, people are at home looking for solutions online. They're still online researching. And because of that, social media has gone through the roof. So people now more than ever are on Facebook in particular, looking and craving authentic content. So we've talked about how you post from your page to get it to show up in the news feed. Now we're going to talk about how to use Facebook ads to show up in the news feed of the exact people who are your ideal client. So instead of just telling you, here's a template, go run with it, we've broken this into 3 parts. 1, what to put in your ads. 2, when to boost versus run an ad. And 3, the secret sauce, our best practices. So without further ado, I want to kick this off with the textable standard. So this is I think I've said this in every one of the workshops, but Jordan, I can't imagine starting this off without it, right? So
people, great.
This is the number one question I get is what do I need to be posting on social, right? Should I post my lunch is the second question. It's amazing how people want to post their lunch, okay? So my question then becomes, well, what do your ideal clients already care about? And you see the look of like, I don't know, right? So think about it like, let's simplify it, okay? Take Facebook out of it. If you text whatever you're about to post to Facebook, if you text it to your ideal client, would that be spam or would that be a resource? And then how would you talk to them when you're texting them about it? Hey, I saw this and thought of you because I know you're trying to, increase your healthy living, right? Or you're trying to lose some weight, or I know you want to get more free time, or whatever that thing is they want. Now, notice you would text them about what they care about. You wouldn't, and unless you're a personal trainer, you probably wouldn't send them your lunch, right? So therefore, you probably shouldn't be posting your lunch on Facebook unless you're a personal trainer or a meals ready company or something like that. So if it's valuable, post it. And if it's spam, don't post it. But that leads us to the second component I really want you to get from these last 3 workshops, which is if you took the time to post it, you need to put some money behind it. So by the second part of this, you're going to learn the difference of boosting and ads, and you're going to be so clear on that. But just know, text or post what people care about, like you're going to text them, and then put some money behind it to be able to get seen. So Jordan, let's kick this off here. So when you need to understand what to put into your ads here and understanding your client, walk us through how you start a campaign.
Yeah, that's great. Well, again, I'm pumped to be here and to be talking about this. This is what I live and breathe, and I love digging into it and just giving you guys some insights on how to make the best campaign possible. And so, when we're starting a campaign, we want to start thinking about our clients. Obviously, we want to be thinking, what do they want? What do they need? What do we have that we can offer them? And then how do we communicate that in a clear way through imagery and through text and through video? How do we convey that to the client? So we want to start thinking like the client. We want to understand what their needs are. We want to understand where they're coming from, and then how we can meet their needs. So that's the very first thing is understanding your client. And then, we want to think about their motivation, like what motivates them to take action, to move, to take the next step, to be engaged with what you can provide for them, the service that you're able to offer for them, or the goods or whatever you have. So those are the first couple of things, Crystal, that as we get started, you really got to start thinking about.
Well, and don't those two go hand in hand, right? I mean, at the end of the day, once you understand your client, and again, I think what you said is really clear, but I want to just emphasize this in my passionate approach. Okay. If you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur or a marketer or a real estate agent, I want you to write down your ideal client right now. Take it out of the hypothetical and write down the name of a client you've worked with. You want 10 more just like, okay? Then I want you to write down the questions they asked you when they first met you, and write down the questions they asked you when you tried to get them to sign. Those questions right there are the cornerstone of what your ideal client cares about. So from that, we can really tease out the needs and the goals, right? The needs and the goals is where you say, okay, I knew that they wanted, to be able to get more free time with their family. Okay, then the challenge becomes, what did they need to get that? Why didn't they already have more free time at their family? Well, they, weren't financially saving for their future, or they didn't have a plan, or they needed a nanny, or, whatever that thing is that ties to your business. Start figuring out what did they want and why did they not already have it? So again, this is a recap of the previous webinars, but it's so important. Now, Jordan, how do you start taking out those needs and goals and start putting them into the elements of an ad? Knowing we're going to give them a template and show them that, how do they begin to conceptualize needs and goals to the elements of an ad?
Yeah, that's good. So when we start to break down the actual practical elements of an ad, we're going to look at some examples in just a minute, and we're going to look at the components. But you've got your text part, and then you've got your imagery part, which can be a video or a photo. And so you want to start thinking, okay, what types of images do I want to show? Do I want to portray? You want to start thinking about the people that you're going to have in your ads. Are they the ideal client? Are they somebody that the client can relate to as far as the demographics you're wanting, or their interests that you're wanting? How are you able to connect with them on that? Which is why it's important to use real photos whenever possible, meaning using photos of actual clients if you're doing like a testimonial, or people in front of your storefront, or actual photos of the products that you're selling in a real life scenario with somebody actually using it. Those are just a few opportunities that you should take advantage of and begin to put together with this. And then again, as far as the text goes, you want to make sure, like we talked about earlier, it's that textable standard, that it's something that is going to communicate your message clearly. And because you don't want to just put an image out there, because if you texted someone an image of the downtown or something, and they look at you, they're kind of like, why am I getting this? And so if you don't explain briefly what the image is about, you're going to lose people. And so that's an important thing. And so again, we'll get into a visual of an actual ad and break that down some more. But the last thing on here is just image resolution. You want to make sure that you are representing yourself and your business in a quality way. If you have a poor resolution image, people are less likely to click on you. The example I've used before is I love Airbnbs, and that's how I travel when I go to different places. And I honestly immediately just skip through the Airbnbs that have poor quality images, because I'm like, that just sketches me out a little bit. And so anyway, same way with ads. If your imagery isn't excellent, you're misrepresenting yourself, because you want to portray yourself in an excellent way. So that's what I would say, just as we kick it off.
Yeah, this is so good, Jordan. And the words you said, as a consumer, right? Not as the professional that you are, but as a consumer, he says, right. I look at a photo and it's blurry. I go past it because it stresses me out. So folks, I want you to really hear that, because what Jordan shared through his personal journey of Airbnbs in this case is what we all face when we market our products, which is, if you have a blurry image, it breaks down the implicit trust, right? So you're building trust with somebody, a potential client. They see your ad once or twice, do they identify with the message? Do they identify with the image? Is the image good quality? When they click on it, is there a related message, or are you just sending them to your homepage or whatever, right? This is what we're talking about today, is building this trust, this momentum that you are the guide. You know what this person needs. You've helped people just like them, and you're going to help them become the hero of their life, right? That is what we're teaching you today. And we're talking about this. So that stress he's talking about is him losing trust in that Airbnb placement. So have that good resolution image so you build trust with your potential client. Now, I put this up in every workshop because I can't imagine talking about marketing without actually showing the slide, I guess. But no, seriously, what this is the buyer persona. And this just shows you, this is where you write down, again, what do they want? And over here in the goals, right? What do they want? Is challenge. What stood in their way, right? Another goal. What do they want? What stood in their way? Or what's their challenge? Okay, what happens when they get it? Right, their goal, right? So you can also put down your typical ideal client, give them a name, and the person you actually worked with, write down their job title, their income, their education, what books they read. You may say, I don't know this. You can go back to that ideal client and say, I loved working with you so much that I want to attract 10 more people just like you. Can I do a quick interview on some of the sources of information where you consume your content so that I can attract more clients just like you? That would be so flattering to have somebody reach out to you and say that you are their ideal client and they're going to try to find people just like you. So again, yeah, please.
Sorry, I'm jump in here and reiterate that you can do that. So, I've been sitting through hosting these webinars, and I was, it made me go, there's a customer I've worked with before that I'd love to get their interest on what we're doing and what we're talking about. And I went and said, hey, I'd like to reach out and just kind of pick your brain. You used to be a great partner of mine. And you know what? They were flattered to have that conversation. They were like, oh my God, I hadn't talked to you in a while. I didn't, I'm glad that you even thought of me anymore. And we're happy to answer those questions. So I share that story because I know a lot of people, when they hear that, they get nervous about reaching out to a past customer and wondering what that interaction might be like. And mine was excellent, and it actually rekindled a conversation and may lead to some future business, but they were absolutely flattered to be thought of.
Oh, that is such a great testimony to the fact that, yes, you can reach out to them. Yes, they are still there. And yes, they will be flattered. And especially if you start with a genuine compliment. I really enjoyed working with you because X, right? Or you really impressed me because X, whatever that is. And then say, I would like to work with 10 people just like you, right? So good. Awesome. Well, okay, Jordan, this is what everybody's been waiting for, okay? When they're like, Facebook ads are going to give me a template. They're finally going to explain what goes where. Now, I know you're going to share that this template works with one type of campaign. This isn't a one size fits all. So, but start breaking down, regardless of what type of
This is great, yeah.
Yeah, what are the elements that you need to brainstorm, to put on paper, talk to your team, whatever that is, before you go to Facebook? What are those elements?
Yeah. So the first thing is what we just showed in the last slide that you guys have, of course, done by now, where you've talked about your goals and your pain points and you've identified your ideal client, because that is going to help you in this section when you're actually doing the practical side of it.
What?
So here are the different.
I'm blown away. I'm sorry. I'm just
you.
like, what? They connect? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they got the cheat sheet, right? They did the buyer persona.
Right.
So good. Now bring it home,
Right.
Brett.
That's right. So right here, this is just a basic ad template. This is for a traffic ad. So what that means is this ad is going to send somebody to a website that you designate. So whether that's a landing page, which is most recommended, or whether it's just your website in general, this is what this is for. So your most important text is going to be your primary text, and that's what's going to be above your imagery. And that's you're going to want that to be 1 to 2 sentences, something like that. And it's got to be a bam, immediate call to action that succinctly says what you are able to offer to the client and how you're able to guide them and what they're able to do. It immediately gets to the point in a clear way of what this ad is about. And then, of course, the imagery below is important. So this ad in particular is for donations, and so it kind of shows the ideal client, and this is kind of for an end of the year, big donor fund thing, and so this is for the older folks mostly, and so there's the imagery there, and it's somebody on their phone, so it's portraying what kind of this client wants them to do. So that's important in choosing your imagery. Landing page. Obviously, this is where you're going to take the client once they click the ad. And so you're going to want the imagery of the landing page to look the exact same or very similar to this ad so that people aren't confused when they leave this, like Crystal had mentioned before.
And can I just chime in real quick, Jordan? Because I've had a couple people say to me, what is a landing page? So what would you say? Let's go to like the basic here. What is a landing page and how is that different than say, your home page?
That's good. So a landing page, don't be confused. It's essentially just another page that you create on your website that is specific to your campaign or ad. So it's just another page that you create on your website that is specific to your campaign or ad. Most often, it has a sign-up form on it in order to get information and gain leads. Or it has some sort of call to action that you are wanting the person to do. For instance, in this ad, it's a donate now, so it's going to have, or it ought to have, actually I know it does, but it ought to have a form where people can donate right there on the website on the landing page. So that's in essence what a landing page is.
I love it. I like to tell the clients, it says, essentially the form says everything the ad says, and then right underneath it in hidden font, subliminal text, it says, fill out this form or go home. Right? Don't browse the rest. Right. Don't go to my social. Don't click, no, fill out this form for this ad or go home. That is the whole purpose of the page. So good. Okay.
Yep.
They got their landing page.
Right.
Point. It matches the ad. Same fonts, same message, same call to action. Okay. So good. Keep going.
Yeah. So headline is going to be, it literally the most you can do there is about 3 or 4 words. And so that is going to be your wham bam. This is exactly what I want you to do. And you're going to make a difference. And then the call to action button it's like any button. This is what I'm doing when I click this. I'm clicking this and I expect to be able to donate now on the page that I'm going to. And that button is going to take you to your landing page when they click it. Now, there's a lot of options for your call to action button, depending on your campaign or ad's goal. And they're all listed on the right there. You can get them to shop if you have an online store, to listen to a podcast, to get a quote, get an offer, download something. Learn more is actually the most common one. If none of those fit the bill of what you're exactly calling them to. But those are some options that you have right there. And then, that in essence is the basics of an ad for a traffic campaign.
I love this. Go for it, Alexander.
So correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm sending somebody to a landing page that is not matched with my content of my ad, or my button, my CTA button doesn't match, again, my ad, I'm probably wasting money on my advertising, right? They're going to leave a lot quicker.
Right. That is right. Yeah, you're probably wasting money.
So good. Okay, look. So I just had a client who just started this week, right? Jordan's actually helping me on this account, and long story short, he has not committed to doing a landing page. He also does not have a website. Okay, he does have a Facebook account. He is actively checking his messages, and so he said, "Can we run a message campaign to drive messages while we're getting our landing page set up?" Jordan, what would you say to him?
I would say yes, and we're going to do that. That's your option. If you only have that. Now, obviously, ideally would be something more like a landing page, and you can measure things better and collect traffic. But that's an option as well, for sure. If you don't have those resources, that you can definitely do that.
Yeah, and one of the benefits, somebody else I know, I could just feel, I'm talking to somebody in particular, they're saying, but then why would I use a landing page? You said you can measure analytics better and track conversion, but there's also something called a Facebook pixel we're going to be talking about today, which is a little piece of code you put on the back end of your landing page, and then everybody who goes to that landing page then sees your ads when they go back on Facebook. So it's a powerful retargeting tool that you have at your disposal. Whereas if they just message you once, they're not going to be retargeted again and again. So you do have a lot more control. It's a better experience for the user, and you can retarget, which is the gasoline on your campaign if you use a landing page. So landing page is superior, but absolutely you can do a message campaign if you don't have a website or a landing page. Landing pages start at $250. Just putting it out there. That is something we can help you with. For $250, we can solve all your problems for a landing page. So let us know if you need some help. All right. So creative examples. I know people are really excited on the edge of their seats for this, because so often you can show them a template, but they can't start at scratch. They can pick apart somebody else's work, but they can't start at scratch. So kind of walk us through each of these campaigns, kind of applying that template and why you selected each text or image or such.
Yeah, that's great. So, and obviously each of these have different goals. So this first one here is a carousel, and that is a type of creative that you can build or make on a Facebook ad, and that is, so for instance, if this were actual, you could hover your mouse over that kind of right side where that image is peeking out, and there'd be an arrow. You could click that and view more images. So this is fantastic and perfect for e-commerce or just for showing off a variety of different products. And so with this one, their call is they want someone to get a quote on, what would it cost to bring windows out here to replace windows. And their main goal was just to show off, the beauty of their windows in somebody's house, for you to kind of imagine and envision, okay, well, yeah, what would it look like to get a window put in here or to get new windows here? So that's the main thing I wanted to show you guys with this is it's a carousel. And that's just a fantastic way to show off some inventory in the product.
And I cannot emphasize that enough. Honestly, so often, bless our business owners and our marketers and entrepreneurs, so often they don't want to just decide on one product. They so often don't want to just decide on one ideal client. They so often want to smash as much in as they can. Now, it is my job as a consultant to help them get crystal clear on who is their target audience. How can we pull out the one type of client who's driving 80% of your business and drive ads to that? But even then they'll say, but that client wanted this or that, right? So if you're a person out there and you are not a service-based industry, but a product-based industry, and you have several versions of your product, carousel images are excellent. You don't have to choose one image and just run with it. You can select multiple images, just like Jordan said. Thank you. Now,
and I'll one last thing I'll say on that is Facebook has this fantastic feature where it will actually put the most or best performing image in that carousel at the very front. So that's just a fun little free tidbit that Facebook does with your ad.
That's fantastic to know. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thank you. Now, I particularly have been touting video for all of these webinars. Alexander has heard me. Now, walk me through, why did you put video in this post?
Yes. Okay. So video.
I have a question, Jordan. Are we talking about video?
Actually, we're talking about videos. So anyway, that's something I'd say. I love to rattle off these stats, but viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video compared to 10% in text. And then social media posts with video have 48% more views. And then social video gets shared 1,200% more than text and images combined.
Whoa!
So that is a lot of percentages,
Whoa.
which is why it's so important to have you.
I'm so excited about this. Okay, so thank you for that. That is so good. And now I want to point out here, you're going to be able to have a video that's super overproduced. You can see like this video here, it has all the logos along the bottom. That's something you have to add in post-production after you shoot a video. But a lot of people, and especially service-based industries, can do this just on their phone, right? They don't need to pay hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So you're gonna walk us through the type of video and then finish with this post. Why video? And produced or raw, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, what you can do as a business owner or small business owner is with your smartphone, you can just hold it and turn it sideways, and you're going to, and if you're not shaking a ton, you know, you can have someone in front and make sure that the light's good on them and just film. And if you just say like a brief message that you want to get out to people, that's powerful. That's awesome. That is the best starting place for you to be. And you're already ahead of the game with images just by doing that. So I would say, you know, go for it. Try it. I know it's scary at first, but once you get past that first or second video, you just get on a roll and you get into this rhythm and you're cranking out videos and you begin to see results happen fast.
Can I give one tidbit before we get back to the ads for video? Just for that one person who's like almost about to have a breakthrough and they're about to try video for the first time. You say, but every time, you know, I was told by a client, every time I try to do video, I get boring, right? And he's a funny guy, bigger than life.
Yeah.
But he gets boring on video, he says. So the thing is think of that one person you want to talk to. It doesn't matter if 1,200 people, 12,000, 12 million see your ad or not. Think of that one ideal client and you just say you, and you connect to the camera like you, like that are you still struggling with this? You know, are you looking for that? Great, I can help. So again, you're saying you, and you just talk to them just like you're talking to that person, that client that's sitting in front of you. And when you say you to the camera, it really makes an incredible video. So that's my only little video tip I'm gonna put out there. We might do a whole nother.
That's great.
But yeah, let's.
Oh yeah, I think we should. I agree. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be long. I think we tend to just think we have to talk a long time, but it can just be right to the point, just a simple, heartfelt invitation, like Crystal's saying.
How long?
Which is kind of what this video is. Go ahead.
Yeah, how long should a video ad be?
Yeah, I mean, 15 or 30 seconds is great. That really is fantastic. And this video right here is a little bit longer than that, but this guy right here is the owner and GM of this car dealership. And what I love about it is he is just, this is a branding campaign. This is a goodwill campaign. He's from a very small city here in East Texas. And he is all about putting his face out there for the community to see. And so when people think of Elder Cedar Creek, they immediately think of Forrest Elder. Like his face is tied with this place, which is awesome because that connects this business in a personal way. And that's what he's trying to get here. What he's talking about is, you know, hey, we're here to, you know, make Elder customers for life. Like, we care about you. We're here for every step of the journey, for any trade-ins, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And so again, he's stepping out there. He's putting his face out there. He is making that personal connection with these people in this small city, just letting them know, hey, we're here for you, which I love. So powerful.
Is there anything? Is there a video that can be too long? Can you recommended 15 to 30 seconds, but can somebody post something that's too long and it actually works to their negative?
Oh, definitely, yeah, and it does depend on the industry. There are some circumstances where like a minute to 3 minutes is fine. If it's a how-to, like if you're making a recipe or something like that, people are gonna like be zoned in and want to see you make the whole pie or whatever you're making. You know, those instances can be longer. But definitely, if you do a longer video, you want to make sure what you want to say is in that first 5 to 10 seconds. Even if you make a longer video.
Yeah, good advice. Awesome. What about this next one here for 89.5?
Yeah, these are tickets to a concert, and this is the artist right here. So again, front and center, this is an artist that the people who are targeted to this campaign to, they immediately recognize who this is, and they are, you know, interested and they're ready to go. And so again, just the pool here is a popular person and a face right in front and center. And then just the get tickets to see Blanca, like it is a very clear, immediate AM call to action. You click learn more, and then you can go and get those tickets.
Now, in this case, it says learn more. Would you recommend that this actually should say buy now or shop now?
Maybe, I think get tickets is a new one since this was out, and so that would probably be it. Yeah, if there was something more like that, for sure. Yeah, that would be better.
Awesome. Awesome.
This is another just personal video. This is a volunteer at a nonprofit here in town, and this lady is just extending a personal invitation to pregnant mamas. They offer free pregnancy services, and so she's just saying, hey, we're here for you, to support you and all that stuff. And so just that heartfelt connection with a person versus, you know, just a stale, static image. Just the opportunities and the power of connection is so much more with a video like this.
You know, I want to really chime in on this one too, because I think about that entrepreneur who wants to be everything to everyone, who's not willing to say, in this case, let's say Living Alternatives, they're not willing to say, I want to target women over men. You know, clearly 80% of their clientele are probably women who are the decision makers coming in, if not much higher than that.
Right.
But some men, they probably have some services for men too, right? Whether or not to recruit the men to bring their wife, or testing services for men for fertility. And so in this case, just notice, folks, that the benefit of a Facebook ad, and again, we're going to get to when to boost versus post, or excuse me, ads versus boost, but this is a key component. They ran an ad because they wanted to target women exclusively who were interested in pregnancy services. They did not run that ad and go after men and women. If they would have posted on their page and boosted it, they would have probably got men and women, and it would have not been as successful. So just keep that in mind, that when would you run an ad? When you have a very clear message to a very clear demographic, and you don't want to confuse that other client you also serve.
Yeah.
Awesome. And now what I love about this is that these photos look real, right? Like you said, use real images, good resolution, people using or seeing your product. But is this a stock photo?
It is a stock photo, yes. So what I love, though, about this, even though it is a stock photo, it is 100% on brand with this school's logo and color. So this is actually what graduates at this school would be wearing, is this blue tapping down, and the background's yellow. And so while it is a stock photo, it is still powerful and immediately can connect to the people that they're wanting to attract. And so, you know, making sure that it's on brand and has your colors and has your logo, you know, is still great if it's a stock photo. So just as long as it connects and it's still a real person and that whole sort of deal.
And I just want to point out that studies show that orange gets the highest click-through rate. So kudos for getting a woman with orange hair and bright yellow background. This ad is going to get a ton of exposure. If you're cruising on the highway of social, you can't help but see this ad in front of you. And if you have a dream of getting education, it definitely speaks to you. And then tuition-free education, yeah, you've got my interest. So fantastic. Thank you so much. I love seeing these examples. Now, we've talked about what to put in your ads as the basics here. We're going to get to when to boost versus do an ad. Kind of walk us through this. When would you, and I gave a sizzle of this a little bit, but when would you run an ad versus boost a post on your page? I want to make sure we're really clear on this.
Yeah. So again, your ad is going to be through your ads manager on Facebook. That's not from your page. On your page, you know, there's the button that says boost post. That's boosting. So ads boosting. When you would want to run an ad, there are a lot of reasons, and they're lined out here. I don't want to spend too much time on them because we got some good meat coming up in a second. But when you want more targeted results, you definitely want to run an ad. You have more capabilities as to who you're able to target, and when and how long, which is the next one, long-term campaign. So with Boost, you have a limited amount of time, and it's optimized just for a shorter time, 3 to 5 days, that sort of thing. But if you want to do a long-term campaign and really plan out, for several months or for even up to a year, Facebook ads is the way to go. You can also do A/B split test control, so you can see which image performs the best through Facebook ads, and you can't do that with a Boost, because with a Boost, it's just one image and you're just optimizing it. You're megaphoning it out to more people.
So wait, you're saying you should look at the data to make a decision? Is that what you're saying here?
Yes, look at the data. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
And then if you want to do an ad set, so what I mean by an ad set is this: click next. You might have to click 2 in the slide. There we go. Okay. So an ad set, and that's kind of small, but essentially, imagine this: you've got an ad, an ad set or an ad campaign right here, and you have the title, and then you have the budget, and you have the target right here at this base level, and then underneath that budget and that target audience, you can have several different ads, different images, different creatives underneath that budget and that creative, and that targeted audience. So with ads, you can have multiple creatives. You can rotate those at different, increments. Whereas with the Boost, it's just one post that you're just, again, megaphoning out to people. So that's another great option. And then when you want to lead capture, so we're going to talk about different campaigns that you can set up for ads. One of those is on Facebook lead capture, where you can immediately collect emails and names and stuff through ads. And then, also just directing people to a landing page to capture leads is the best optimized through Facebook ads, because then you can choose, a lot of the different buttons and all that kind of stuff. So those are some of the high level big things of why you would want to do an ad over a Boost.
Absolutely. And I know we've had a workshop like this before, and one of the questions came, when should I stop promoting an ad? And I kind of had to chuckle, but that's a real question. But really, when it's not important to you anymore or crosses that 1 year mark, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that. And then, of course, you want to make sure that your creative is updated every 1 to 2 months. You don't want to be stagnant out there. So that's the only thing within that campaign that you would want to do.
Awesome. And so again, if you want targeted results, you have a long-term strategy, you want to get lead capture, you want to test different images to see which one works best, you want to have different ads going to reach the end same campaign, you want to get real leads, Facebook ads will get you there. If you are looking to warm up your audience on your Facebook page and keep people engaged and excited and keep them warm while you're cultivating a lead, you need to still post to your page. So you've been hearing me say this at every single workshop, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it real clear for you. When you start running ads, you still need to post on your page. Okay, in the upper little right hand, your little profile photo is there. It has your page name. People will click on that. And if they go there and it looks like a desert and there's no party on your page, all of a sudden you're breaking down that trust factor. So just because you're running ads does not mean you stop posting on your page, folks. You need to do both. So in addition to those ads that you're running, you would have an ad budget. You would also have a Boost budget. And so if you took the time to post it, remember textable standard, if you took the time to post it, take the time to boost it. And you want to boost posts again that are performing well. So we've talked about boosting a long, in-depth discussion at previous workshops. So we're going to kind of jump through this a little bit. But when we're talking about boosting, I want you to understand you have a couple different options. Like Jordan said, you go to Facebook, you go to your page, you find the post on your page you want to promote, and you hover, you look at it, okay? I mean, I'm trying to be as easy as possible here, folks. There's a little blue button. It either says boost or boost again if you've already boosted it. When you hit that blue button, it's going to give you an option to boost to get that post in front of people who like your page or a custom audience. Yes, folks, you can upload your email list, watch the last webinar. And then 3, people who are what I call a cold audience based on demographic. They don't know you yet, right? You got to warm them up. And lastly, you can take that custom audience you created of your email list from your CRM or your Gmail contacts, your LinkedIn, and actually create a lookalike list. So you could take, let's say, 1,000 leads of people who know, like, and trust you, and turn it into 100,000 people who may like and trust you, but don't possibly know you yet. So again, we went through this in depth on our last training, but just know, to sum it up, you want to make sure you're not, most people are going to go just straight to boosting the cold saved audience. They think, well, I want to go after people who live in this neighborhood, who make this much money, who are married and not married, or just recently engaged, or whatever that is. Okay. Yes. But if you boost a post to that and you have no likes on it, I'm telling you right now, you are not going to get the performance you're looking for. But if you take the time to boost that post to people who like your page or the people from your CRM, you're going to get people who know, like, and trust you, who are most likely to like your post, share it, or give you a referral. Then take the other half of your budget and boost your cold audience. If that does not make sense, or you're very curious, watch our last training where we really, really dive into that. But I wanted to touch on it because I need you to really understand when to use a boost versus an ad. Long-term strategy, that's an ad. Lead capture, that's an ad. You want to have a raving fans online on social. You want to get leads from social long-term and keep them warm and get them excited and show you're an expert. That is boosting on your page. So, all right, here we are. We've got about 10, 15 minutes left, and we're in the secret sauce section of today. I don't know about you, but Jordan, I'm excited because we're giving our best of the best on what people need to do to get seen on social. So let's start with boosting best practices. When we talk about boosting a post, what would you say is a best practice?
Yeah. So, make sure that it's, at least $1 a day. And then we of course recommend $3 a day, and then boosting for five days to get the most results. And then Thursdays at 11 is on there too, because when you post and boost, when you boost at Thursdays at 11, that gets you through the weekend. And so people are more likely to be on their phones, just chilling, relaxing. And so that's when your post is more likely to be seen.
And I want to point out, we just had Easter weekend, and I was working on a campaign, and the client said, but shouldn't we wait till after the holiday weekend? I was like, no. I'm telling you right now, people take photos of their kids and grandkids and nephews and nieces and whatever, opening Easter presents. And then what do? They post it on social. Why they're on social? What do you think they do? They cruise through looking at other Easter baskets. So you absolutely, holiday weekends are huge, but holiday weekends should not be missed. So scheduling it on a Thursday before holiday weekend, you're going to see a huge uptick in the amount of people who are engaging. The other thing is, go figure, studies show that Thursday, people are most likely to give you a thumbs up. I don't know. I guess that's because they're like excited about the weekend, but they'll give you a thumbs up on a Thursday and not a Tuesday. I don't know. What do you think about this, Alexander?
Well, I was you were giving the example of posting photos from the holidays. I was actually thought you were going to go in the direction of the entire family sitting around their living room and everyone's staring at their phone and not actually interacting with anybody else, in real life. So I think either way, phones are just part of what we do and who we are anymore. And, when we have downtime, that's where we're looking.
And look, folks, Jordan and I love stats. Okay. That's one of the things I love so much about Jordan. Okay. Get this stat, y'all. Listen to this real closely. I'm going to say it twice. Pre-COVID, and it's only bigger now. Pre-COVID, 1 in 5 minutes on the internet is spent on Facebook. 1 in 5 minutes on the internet is spent where? On Google? No, on Facebook. So people are on Facebook now more than ever, and those numbers have only increased because people are spending more time on social. So now, all right, we're really drilling this down, and I want us, we've learned about the difference of when to boost versus when to have an ad. Okay, we've talked about the importance of videos and the different elements, but there are some things that Facebook has reeled back on. I like to, say that Mark Zuckerberg apparently does not like answering questions to Congress. So
Right.
therefore, you cannot target as well on some categories as others because
Yep.
you will get in trouble. So in order to prevent them from getting in trouble, they have put limitations on special ad categories. Walk us through this.
Sure. So this applies to both booths and ads. So if your ad, meaning the creative, the text, and sometimes the imagery, if your ad is about credit, loans, housing, real estate, like a real estate listing even, finances, employment, medical, social, and then a new one is politics. Social and politics are new. Then you have to self-identify your ad as a special ad category, as one of those ad categories. And so when you do that, that's going to be an option when you're setting up your booth or when you're setting up your ad. You're going to see it. It's going to be kind of at the top, but it'll say special ad category, and you're just going to have to click that. And when you click that, then your options as far as targeting are below that. You can target on some things. You can do gender. You can't do age. You can do some demographic stuff, but again, the list gets super small. And you can still choose the location of where you're targeting, but you get pretty limited as to what you can do. And the reason you want to do that ahead of time and make sure that you really look over your ads and think, okay, is this one of those categories? Is because if it is one of those categories and you don't click special ad category, then when you click try to run, what'll happen is Facebook will take it, and then, well, sometimes they'll say no if it's really obvious, but a lot of times they'll take it, and then it's in the review process, and then maybe a few hours later, or even the next day, they'll spit it back to you and say rejected, and you're like, what? Oh man! And then after that, you have to either rebuild the whole ad or request for them to look at it, to review it, and it's just this whole process. So make sure before you launch the ad, just to see if it applies to any of these categories, and go ahead and click it.
Oh, I love it. I love to know what I can do and what I can't do. So it's very good to know mortgage brokers out there, real estate agents, politicians, whatever, finance, wealth managers. Y'all have some special categories, which means you have less ability to target your ads. Now, you can still be successful, but just be aware that there are some limitations for your industry. Okay, this might be my favorite slide. Okay, I actually got so much off of this. Types of campaign. So we showed you the template earlier, and we said you need a headline and primary text and an image and a link and all of that. And like we said, that's 80% true for all campaigns, but they're all going to be a little different.
Right.
Pick out a couple of these and tell us, when would you want to run this type of ad specifically on Facebook?
Yeah. So the first one there is a page like campaign. And so that is just the components of that are going to be, let's see, threefold, I believe. There's going to be a primary text. So you can say like a main wham bam text at the top, hey, like my page to learn blah, 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 and then there's going to be an image. And then below that, it's just going to say your page name and a thumbs up button. And so that's all you get is really that primary text and then that main image. And then you don't really have a choice down there at the bottom. And so people can just, if they like that, then immediately on the ad, they can click that button and you get a page like from that. And so it's really successful in getting page likes. Go ahead, Crystal.
So you're buying likes, right?
No, you're not buying likes. You are asking the client if they're interested in what you are doing and what you're able to offer to them.
Yes. And as a person who had a social media firm for 7 years, I can't tell you how many times people asked me to buy them likes, and never did I buy them likes. So it absolutely will shoot yourself in the foot. You do not want to buy likes. But you can run a page look like campaign where you actually pay Facebook money to show an ad in the feed. And when people like that post, it feels like they're liking that post, there's a button and they like it just like all the other ones, but it likes your page. So just know that that is a key way of increasing it. Knowing that when somebody gets a referral, the first thing they do is they do what? They Google you. You hope they call you, but you know they're going to search you online. When they search you online, they're going to see if you have a website. They're going to go to your Facebook and they're going to see how many followers you have and when was your latest post. If you fail on any of those fronts, I'm telling you right now, they're going to break down that trust. So having a big number of page followers is actually going to demonstrate you as an expert. It's going to look like a party on your page. You know, 2,000 is the magic number that people throw around to be a micro influencer. So I would say if you're not at 2,000 page likes, that is a very good goal to get to. All right, keep going. You're doing great.
Great. I'll kind of go over some of these lightly. So event response campaign, becoming more popular as things become a little more open, but it's even applicable for, you know, virtual events. That's essentially just an ad that is promoting your Facebook event where people immediately on the ad can say interested or going or that sort of thing. Lead generation campaign, we talked about this specifically is for, it's not to take them to a landing page. This lead generation campaign is for on Facebook. You can build out a form where you say, maybe in the ad, it's like, hey, download our free meal plan. And then somebody clicks, and then still on Facebook, a little thing pops up where they enter their name, their email, or whatever different things that you want to have on there. And then they click submit, and then you can spit out either, you know, a PDF or take them to another page for whatever you promised them or whatever, that sort of thing. You don't have to promise them anything, actually. You can just say, hey, you want, you know, can we get your information? But it's great to have incentive and that sort of thing. So, but on Facebook, you are generating and collecting leads, which is pretty powerful. And people are lazy, and so they like just being able to stay on Facebook and not have to go to another page and then find out where the form is and that whole sort of thing. So that's the perk of that specific campaign.
Awesome.
We talked about.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, people, when you click on something on Facebook and it takes you out of Facebook, have you ever had that experience? Your heart starts pounding, you know, you're like, all of a sudden you start, beads of sweat start forming. Okay, maybe it's a little
Where am I going?
Right? Yeah. But people get stressed when they take you out of Facebook. So keeping them in Facebook is a little more expensive. And by a little, for sometimes it's a lot more expensive. It depends. But it can be more expensive, but it also can be more successful. And what else?
Yeah. Traffic campaign, we already touched on. That's taking them to a landing page or just to whatever URL you put into the ad to take them to. Message campaign, we also touched on that. It's where you are the response to your ad, to your call, is to send a message to your Facebook page. If you want to generate video views, you can definitely do a video view campaign, which that's all about that. And then, you know, you can target based on reach, and then there's even one for e-commerce where you can show off more products.
I love it. Which one can you do carousel images on?
Traffic campaign is your main one. You can do it on a few others too, but that's the main one.
Okay, awesome. So remember, if you're doing a learn more, you can use that on kind of various ones we just talked about. If you're a product-based industry, you can use carousel images, so you can have several images featured, and Facebook will optimize which one should go first. And that is mostly on your traffic campaign. But you got to step back. We talked about at the very beginning, understand your client, being intentional, but think about the results you want. Right. So for example, this would be a great example. With this we just went live, right, on M. Roberts Digital. When we actually promote it, should we promote it for video views? Should we promote it to get messages to our page? Should we promote it to drive people to a landing page where they can learn more? You know, are we looking to get them to RSVP for the next event? Do we want to use this to create page likes for our page? So you got to really think like that, especially if you have a video. What is the end result, the big win for you? Be intentional. So Facebook has a lot of different options to allow you to be intentional. So speaking of that, again, some of these are pulled back for those special category industries we talked about, such as real estate, credit, finance, health issues, politics, social, etc. But other than that, there are some really great ways to target on Facebook to get in front of people who are your ideal client. And so this is, you can target people who have specific interests, as you see here. They've liked pages like this before. They've clicked and consumed content similar to this before.
Yep.
They've given thumbs up to things before. Facebook knows a lot about you. They know what you like and what your interests are. And they also know your education status, financial status, relationship status, parental status, job title, and industry. So just be ready, because you can target based on that specific data and also on behaviors. Go for it.
Can I say something on the demographics? The things, just in my experience on the back end, the things that I most often find helpful in targeting are job title. Actually, that's a really important one that we're able to use in our industry and target the kinds of people that we want. And then also relationships. So, like, for example, there's a wedding venue here, and so engaged people, like, that is mine. I remember when I told them the first time that you can target engaged people. Like, they were like, "What? Wait a second. Yeah, of course. We're a wedding venue. We want to go for, that's our people." And so just that they could target that, specific of a person, of an audience, was just mind blowing to them. So anyway, just start thinking in terms of that.
And I was going to say, as you talk about engagement, that's powerful for insurance salespeople, real estate agents, auto dealers, because those are all major times you're making major life decisions, and can be a great demographic, more than just a wedding idea.
Well, and then think about all the ancillary wedding venue or vendors too. You've got your lighting people, your musicians, your caterers, and the list goes on and on. So yeah, this is a great one. Job title is key, absolutely key. And then lastly, for behaviors, you mean you can actually target device, user, brand? I mean, like, so Android versus Apple, mobile versus desktop?
Oh yeah, it's pretty powerful. And behaviors is, since you, this is kind of Facebook's way around targeting, nationalities or races, that sort of thing. Multicultural affinity just means that if you're more involved in Latino types of things, those are the types of people you can target. If you're more involved in, I don't know, just different cultural affinities, that's what that means right there. And then politics too. If you are wanting to target, right, left, that sort of thing, you can even target based on that, which is pretty powerful.
So good. I love it. And realistically, look, we've just given you a lot of our best practices. We're going to really kind of sum it up with our best of the best here. But I really want to emphasize here that if you have not tried Facebook ads, get ready, because they get results. So you do need to set up what's called a Facebook Ads Manager. You heard Jordan say that earlier. So pro tip, take time to set that up, connect it to your page. You can Google it or hire professionals like us to do it for you. But do that first. And that's where you store your credit card information. You determine, where how you set up your ads and who you're going to target. So that is the first step. But once they have a Facebook Ads Manager and they have their page connected to it, what are some of the other best practices that we would really recommend for somebody getting started here?
Yeah, and again, these are some best practices for ads and for what you're actually running. So, in order to get the best results, you want to be able to offer people something, whether that's, a free download or something that we've done before is a free email series, like an email drip campaign. And so, if you ask them, hey, sign up for our free 15 days of nutrition, where every day you get a free tip on nutrition, like something powerful where you're able to offer them something in return for their information is going to be really great. And genuinely offer it. Don't try to just steal their information with false ploys. You have to follow through on what you promise. But just remember, you like free stuff, so does everybody else. So if you want to get engagement, free stuff is great. To stay away from you, the way that I take this is that, for one, when you're creating your Facebook text, you can't, a lot of times Facebook will block an ad in which you mention a specific demographic or a specific location in the text, because the last thing Facebook wants is for people to be creeped out that you targeted people in, San Angelo, Texas, who are between the ages of 22 and 23, and they have this job title. And so they don't want you to, an ad to say, hey, person who's 23 in San Angelo who works here, wow, that's way too creepy. And so you don't want to creep people out with too much information. You do want to be relevant to what they, are desiring, and you want to be aware of your demographic and the lingo and the language you're using. You don't want to say totes cool to a bunch of old people or whatever, but just being aware of your language and your lingo in your text is important. So that's one thing.
Yeah. And even just saying, are you struggling with depression, for example, that isolates somebody so that would make them feel uncomfortable, and Facebook would reject that. Right. So if it's one of those protected categories, are you facing bankruptcy, for example, that may be a protected category that would isolate somebody to feel a certain way about it, and you're not allowed to do that. Right. So there's a lot of kind of spin-off of stay away from you. But yeah, you absolutely want to be careful when you use it in the text, when you're as precise as you can be about who you're targeting. These are absolutely key takeaways. Awesome. Thank you. What else?
Yeah. The Facebook Pixel, you mentioned it earlier, Crystal. It's just a powerful way to retarget the people that are actually interested in what you have to offer, from your website, from the landing page that you have. You can research ways to set it up. It's a little complicated if you don't know all the back ends and stuff. We're able to provide that service for our clients, but anyways, you're putting a code on your website that tracks people and just allows for you to continue to generate more revenue, continue to strengthen relationships, and continue to show people who are interested in what you have to offer more of what you have to offer.
Exactly. So, I like to ask my clients two questions. One, would it be beneficial if you would get in front of people who went to your website on Facebook? And two, are you already spending money on Facebook? Yes. If you said yes and yes, you want to get in front of people who went to your website and left on Facebook, and you're already spending money, then you absolutely should be doing a pixel. There's no reason, whether you're doing boosts or ad, if you're spending money on Facebook and you want to get in front of the people who went to your website when they go back on Facebook, you absolutely should be doing a pixel. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's a slam dunk, easy fix right now. Somebody just had a breakthrough, Jordan.
That's great. Yes, we're all about breakthroughs. The last thing on here is just we don't recommend running a sweepstakes through ads. A couple, maybe even longer than that, a few years ago, sweepstakes and giveaways and all that were a huge thing, and people still do that on the for healthcare products and stuff like that, but it's more usually just a post or a boost or something where it's not broadcasted as wide. And so Facebook tends to reject or shut down sweepstakes through ads, just because they don't want to be affiliated with it. Even if you say you're not affiliated with Facebook, a lot of times they still don't want that to run. So not saying that you can't ever not do a sweepstakes on your page, just don't do it through an ad.
Yeah, so good. I know we are at time here, but I want us to finish with this because we talked about using data earlier to make an informed choice. So hopefully everybody has already got a nugget out of today. You're gonna be able to move forward with this and take action. But if you're arms crossed, come on, what do you got for me? I'm already doing ads. I'm already boosting. I'm already all over that. Yeah, I've warmed up the post. I've created a customized. Yeah, I've got my pixel. Yeah. What do you got for me? What would you say to that person and how they should use the data that Facebook provides?
Yeah, I would just say continue to look at what you're running. If you're already running stuff, look at what you're running, look at what the results are, and look at how you can optimize and grow that. Because you can always do things better. You can always grow. You can always target people who are more interested in what you're able to offer. And so this here is just a screenshot of the back end of Facebook Ads Manager in a specific campaign. And we just want to make you guys aware that is available to you in your Ads Manager. And you can see link click results. You can see how many people you've reached. You can see how much you spent. You can even compare those two. So you can compare impressions with actions, and you can look at the demographics And you can see is this resonating more with male or with female, or what age is this really hitting? Placement, delivery, what time of day is really hitting home for this specific ad that I'm running? Just, look at the results, see what's working, and go from there.
And that's a great example. Even if you just look at the peak time the ad is performing, and then turn off in your ad the times that it's just mediocre, you're going to see your results skyrocket. Like Jordan said, there's always an opportunity to do better. There's always an opportunity to better target your ideal client for less money and get better results. And that is what data allows you to do, is make informed decisions. So I know some people right now just got really intimidated by charts and graphs. They didn't like geometry or algebra, and they sure don't like that. But I just want to tell you that it is okay. You too can be successful with Facebook ads. So I'm a big believer that taking action is easy when you know what to do, and when you don't, it's terrifying, right? So we're here to give you the tools to help you be successful. We're here as consultants. We're here as a full digital agency. So I just offer to you that if you're looking to make a splash on Facebook, don't not do it because you don't know how. Hire somebody or research it, figure it out. But right now, more than ever, people are on Facebook and they're dying for your content. They want to see how you're helping people. They want real, authentic content. And that's what you can provide. And that's hopefully what you've learned through this 4-part series. How to create is how to build a fan base on Facebook, how to grow that audience and get leads. So what a real treat. Thank you again, Jordan. The man behind the curtain has revealed himself.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan, this is the man to know. So what a treat. And Alexander, thank you so much for organizing all this and hosting it. What would you like to say before we wrap up?
Well, I need to make sure we thank our friends at the Greater Marshall Chamber of Commerce for partnering with us to bring this webinar series to everybody in the community. And I'm just going to reiterate what Crystal kind of shared with you guys. We're passionate about helping businesses grow their audience and getting them in front of the right audience. So if you've got questions about anything we've covered in this web series, we are here and happy to help. Feel free to reach us at the Marshall News Messenger or M. Roberts Digital. Good plug there, Jordan, right on time. And any of us are really excited about helping you and here to answer any questions, be that about social or any other digital question you might have. We know it can be very scary and intimidating, and that's what we're here to do to help with. So with that, Crystal, Jordan, I appreciate you guys popping in and helping out today. You can find more about us at marshallnewsmessenger.com or mrobertsdigital.com. And with that, thank you, and we'll see you another time.